and welcome to another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
And my name is Thomas Grimm.
Joining us in the studio today, ladies and gentlemen, Aron Wade. What's up, sir? How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good.
I'm fucking tired, dude. I went to the gym early this morning, mowed grass after that. That took like 2 or 3 because I do 2 yards. God, it just wears me out. Yeah, man, beautiful Saturday. Really enjoying the weather.
Yeah, very nice. A nice 80 degrees outside. Aron, you want to give our listeners like a brief elevator pitch of like who you are, what you do, where you come from?
Yeah, I grew up in a small town of Plainville, Indiana. Very few people, 800 people.
Very plain lifestyle.
Nice. Small enough that not a lot of people have heard of it. Large enough you could start your own militia. I like that. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of drugs in
It's a good size. It's a good size.
How many people were in your graduating class?
I actually didn't graduate from Plainville. I started to go to school at North Daviess, and that's a town that's close enough for our school. And I had really bad trouble in school. When I was at North Daviess, I was in the special needs learning disability classes.
Oh shit! Okay.
And my a cool part about that is the bullies in the other classes, of the normal classes, they were kind of picking on us, but we kind of got the last laugh because our class graduated perfect attendance, and the bullies said we weren't all there.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. And then also they're in prison now, the bullies. So,
yeah.
Fuck.
Exactly.
No, I'm joking. Could you imagine?
They probably are.
How fucking dope would that be if you got bullied all through high school by a guy, and then like you graduate and he fucking maybe does or doesn't, and then you find out he went to prison? Like that's the best, dude.
It'd be funny. It'd be even funnier if you became like a cop and you worked the prison and you could bully him from inside the cell.
Just nightstick in his ass every day, dude.
Right.
Wow.
Hiding contraband in his cell.
What do you? So what are we going to talk mostly about today? What do you do? What are you into?
I'm into stand-up comedy.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how you got into it and all that jazz. So, and I have a question about Daviess County. That's north of us, Noy.
Yeah. It's North Daviess is the school there in Daviess County.
Y'all get a lot of tornadoes up there, Noy.
No,
I always feel like every time I'm watching the Weather Channel and there's bad weather around us, it's always like Evansville. Don't worry, a little bit of rain heading your way. Every time it's like, North Daviess County, get in the fucking basement now. Right.
I also think it depends
now.
on where you're at in Evansville, too, because the river curves there.
Yeah.
So that storm...
we're actually in a bowl. Daviess County actually in a dip. And so tornadoes don't typically, they kind of go over us.
They don't fuck with you guys, really?
No, they don't. No.
Follow-up question. Do you fuck with tornadoes?
No.
You don't like them?
They're twisted as hell, but
I'm fascinated by them. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Okay. So Daviess County. Graduate from what high school again?
Well, actually, that's what I wanted to mention. In high school, my parents switched me to Grace Christian School. It was a private school, so it was a lot less kids, a lot less that I had to deal with. There was a lot less
kids, more God. I like that. Okay, here we go.
So here's the thing. I had that bad learning disability. North Daviess, I think they did their best with us, but they kind of held our hand through stuff.
Yeah.
So when I got to Grace Christian, my teacher, Steve Sauer, he kind of drilled into my mind. I couldn't focus at North Daviess. He was able to get me to focus and drilled me and just was able to get me to the point where I could understand stuff in my own way. And I found out at North Daviess, at Grace Christian, that part of my learning strengths was actually memorization.
Okay. Nice,
and
dude.
I started memorizing tests and quizzes, writing them down on flashcards. I went from 50 to 30% on test to studying flashcards for hours on end a day, getting a 93% on the same test, fill in the blanks and stuff. And
you would be like a history person. You like if you were a history person, you could memorize the dates and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's why I love history. And like I can you look at a map and tell you what's what, but like when it came to like what wars happened or what dates happened, like get me the fuck out. Like I
was gonna make a mention too. I had a biomechanics professor at U of E who would have fucking hated you. So there was a point in time where, like, in the first couple weeks of the semester, we had a couple quizzes, and I had memorized a certain thing or whatever, like a certain topic, and I had memorized it to a T. And I was like, I'm going to show this bitch. You know what I mean? Like, try to get one over daddy. Well, anyway, so we take the quiz, and I do okay. I do like 70 or 80%, but I go and talk to her after, and I was like, hey, man, like, I had this shit memorized top to bottom. Like, I can quote it for you right now as I'm talking to you. She was like, yeah, but in biomechanics, I don't need you to memorize something. I need you to analytically tear apart the angles and the momentum and the fucking...
You said, what am I, a film director?
Yeah. And I was like, all right, dude, this is fucking stupid. I hate this class.
The oxygen pans in from the right.
Yeah, dude. But anyway, so yeah, she would have fucking hated you for sure. Memorization, not her favorite thing.
So, but like, do you think it was just like the less kids where you were able to focus in on, or like, what was there like a big switch in like the way classes were structured?
I don't know what snapped in me. It wasn't the kids, because my teacher actually got me to the point where I took my iStep test. My mom owned a restaurant in Plainville, Iron Kettle Restaurant, and I grew up in that restaurant washing dishes.
I think I've heard of Iron Kettle.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
We did free Thanksgiving meals. Mike Grant would come up and broadcast every Thanksgiving meal, and I was totally famous. They caught the back of my head at 8 years old eating dinner.
Nice.
I'm like, that's me. Nobody's going to recognize me. That's me.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've been on TV. And
Hell yeah. That's sick, dude. Shout out to the Iron Kettle. Are they still up and running?
No, we sold it. We leased it out to somebody, and then they quit, and then we sold it to somebody, and it went downhill. But my teacher got me to the point where I actually did my iStep test in the Iron Kettle restaurant, starting out with nobody in there. And by the time I got done and I looked up from that iStep test that I was totally in tune with, there were dishes clanking, there were people being loud and obnoxious. It was just crazy noise going around, and he had me to the point drilling in my head how to focus. I had no idea what was going on.
You mentioned that you had Asperger's, and Brian mentioned that Elon Musk has Asperger's, and I was listening to a book on Elon Musk, and his parents would talk about, like, when he was at the dinner table, he'd be like hyper focused in on something else, and they couldn't even get like his attention at all. Like hyper fixation or what fixation.
I have two quick things. What's that movie? Limitless. That's what it was. I was trying to make a funny reference, and I couldn't remember the name of the movie, but I was going to say you were basically like, have you seen the film Limitless? Where he like takes a pill and he like, it's like Adderall on steroids. But anyways, I was going to make a joke. That's not that funny now. But I was going to also, my second point is, does Elon really have Asperger's? I mean, like, dude, is this just like a buffing thing for him? Because, like, don't get me wrong, he is like extremely socially awkward. You can tell with his interactions on camera, but like, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he's really got it?
Yeah.
Do you think he's really got it?
I don't know.
Do you know much about Elon?
I don't study a lot about him, so I don't really.
You don't look up to other people that have a similar condition?
Do what?
That's you don't have like somebody with like a similar condition that you look up to?
That's actually a good question.
Well, here's the thing. INFJ is my personality that they diagnosed me with.
Can you explain that for the?
Here, one second. We can Google this because it's actually a personality type.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's less than 1%.
Somebody was talking to me about a numbers personality type. It's like, what number profile are you?
They basically,
I'm out with like all these like college professors, like all these really smart people, and they're like, "What number?" And I'm like, "What?" And they like told me.
Are you talking
they
about?
like told me what it was called, and I was like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom real fast. I gotta take a shit." And I'm in there taking this test real fast.
Yeah, you're a fucking INFJ for sure.
Is that what it was called? INFJ.
November. INFJ.
They basically told me if you had 100 people in a room.
Will you make it full screen so I can read this? Zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to read a little bit about the INFJ. Sorry, not to cut you off, but
yeah, that's fine.
So we can explain it to everybody listening. INFJ personality type, also known as the advocate. I like that. I like an advocate, dude. I think we might be becoming best buddies. So they're known as the advocate. It is a personality type characterized by introversion, intuition, feeling, and judging. They are known for their deep thinking, idealism, strong moral compass. INFJs tend to be compassionate, creative, and have a strong sense of purpose. They are often described as quiet, reflective, insightful, with a strong desire to make positive impacts on the world. I really like that. And I wouldn't have one thing that I have against this in regards to you, and I bet you are relatively introverted out in public, I'm guessing, if this actually does match your personality type, but like I don't get the introverted vibe from
especially if you can get up on stage and do comedy.
Every
But there
time-
are some people
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
that are just
but
like,
here's the thing: the INFJ, they said Ron White has it, and Dr. Phil. If you've ever heard Dr. Phil talk, he said I'm awkward with like 3 or 4 people, but put me on stage and I come alive. See, I would rather speak to like an audience of 1,000 people and just be myself on stage. But
Yeah.
like I have to get to know you. You have to become somebody that I can trust before I'll open up to you.
Let's cruise through. Okay, so what do you? Let's get back to high school. Let's kind of stay on task here. While you're in high school, what are some things you did that you like enjoyed? What were some things you did as like hobbies?
I was a bowler.
Big bowler.
Yes.
Are you a
like
big,
fingers in guy or fingers out guy?
Oh, are you palming that bitch? Or are you going?
I fingers and thumb, but I go down to the first knuckle.
Okay. Well, she
I-
doesn't appreciate that, but
Yeah.
you know, she's more of a two knuckle gal. But no, but that's interesting, dude. Did you ever watch the film Big Lebowski?
No.
No.
Oh
No. No.
I'm gonna kill myself on
No.
Wah, wah,
All
wah.
right. Well, we got an hour. You want to watch? No.
All right, shut this interview down. Turn on the Big Lebowski. That's going to be the rest of this interview. Dude, have you really never? So fucking good.
Dude, we should do that for a film feast. Bring Morgan in. Have
Oh,
Aron on.
bro, genius idea. But you should also finish the first film feed.
yeah, that's also a good idea.
Well, here, I tell you what, you give me that T-bone steak like you promised. Take me back to your couch with some popcorn, and we'll
didn't-
watch it.
I don't.
Well, do it real popcorn, or can we go to Royal King on the way home? So I ain't got to make
Shit,
it.
dude. And I can take my puppy too that I'm
Right.
gonna adopt this week.
I won't even make you hold my hand.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll hold your pocket, daddy.
All right.
Anyway, so going onward, so you were a big bowler. What else did you do in high school for fun? Like
It was just bowling.
what about outside of like
Well, like, were you a class clown, or were you more focused?
I
on...
was, but I didn't see it. I didn't realize it at the time. I had to look back.
explain that a little bit.
I would always get laughs. The class would always joke around with me. The class put me in a dress, and
Sounds like some pre-Hollywood shit. Is this
And-
before you got it on the news?
yeah, they
Did you go to high school in California in 2020?
no, I wish. They stuffed some tissue paper, and they didn't even make my boobs big enough.
Yeah, just,
That
like an A cup.
Yeah, it was. You could just barely even see them.
Right.
Love that.
Now I grew some natural ones I
Yeah.
can't get rid of.
You're all natural
Oh, yeah.
now, dude. He said, "Whip that dress out again."
What else
bitch."
happened?
Do I?
I'm ready for the rest of the story.
Yeah, what else happened? So they put you in a dress, and then what happens?
The teacher came in and was like, "Get out of that dress!" Like, hey. And the teacher was wearing a
Tell
dress.
me you have material about this that you do on stage.
I've never thought about it yet.
Jesus fucking
Wow.
Christ. We are bringing the best out of you today.
Heck
oh,
yeah.
that brought a tear to my eye. I started
Yeah.
laughing so hard a tear came to my eye. You got to have some dress material.
They,
Especially like the fact that they talk about like all the big actors that like
Yeah,
have
dude.
scenes in dresses. You could be like, yo, Hollywood, I'm already on my way. Like,
Yeah, dude. I've been in dresses for the last
Right.
20 years, bro.
make a movie.
So something within them saw something within me that we were able to goof around with me.
Yeah.
And I brought a lot of laughter to the class. But see, I never realized that was funny. Even though I heard people laughing around me,
Yeah.
it just never clicked that I
Did
was
you
funny.
ever use laughter as like a anti-bullying thing?
Yeah, I
Try to wiggle your way out of like a I'm being defensive situation, so let me throw a joke out there. Do you ever do that?
I do now.
You do now,
yeah.
but you didn't do it back then.
No, getting bullied back then really bothered me. I went through a really
Fucked
deep
you up.
depression with it.
It's not cool, bro, because like it's bad. I don't know, like junior high is the worst. Like when everybody starts getting hormones and shit, and like dudes are growing armpit hair and girls
I
growing.
don't even think it
tits.
was junior. For me, it was middle school.
That's what I'm saying.
And then
like junior high.
yeah. But, so then like by the time I like by like 6th grade going in getting bullied, 7th grade bully, but then by like 8th grade you become the bully.
But you're like, you're just so impressionable. You know what I mean? Like you're so, your brain is in the peak of its forming. You know what I mean? That's a rough age. Like, and you know, B will get there one day, soon in a few years, and you're gonna be like, "Fuck, dude, I'm sorry." Yo, this sucks. But like, I wish you could stop it, but it's just for whatever reason, it's like an animalistic thing that we do. I don't fucking know.
Well, I went through a really bad depression with it.
It's rough, dude. It's harder on others than it is.
Well, what's even crazier is like
harder on
as some of those people get older too, because like I remember there was like certain instances that like I did looking back on, and it's like, oh man, like that was kind of, you know, I may have taken it too far.
Yeah, I did it too.
So my depression sparked from, you know, that learning disability. A lot of kids made fun of me. I didn't understand a lot of things that other kids did. I fell into depression from age 14. When I was 21, I hit rock bottom, and well,
that's after high school. So, like, what did you do after high school up until this point of like leading up to rock bottom?
Yeah, we want to keep it on a timeline. So, like,
I was a bowler all the way. I literally bowled. Grandparents went out on a date. They dropped me off at the bowling alley. Yeah. Mom and Dad would go grocery shopping.
And you're working at the family restaurant after high school, so you're just like bowling, working at the family restaurant.
Yeah, family restaurant was we sold that I think 2004. So 2005, that was around high school. I graduated in 2005.
And then what did you do?
I bowled.
No, just
bowling was my life. Literally.
How have you seen the film Kingpin?
Yes.
Thank God. 1 out of 2 is not bad. 1 out of 2 is not bad.
We'll find another movie reference, and you know, we may. That's 2 out of 3 or something.
Yeah, dude.
So I all the way through high school, I bowled. That was my life. I had nobody to talk to. I didn't feel like I fit in with any crowd. So I bowled, and
What about family members, cousins, brother? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I got one brother and one half sister.
Were they tight with you at that time, or just kind of distant?
We weren't close, but you know, we loved each other.
What about cousins? Did you have anybody else that you were tight with in your family? Maybe
cousins on my mom's brother's side, but they lived far away. We only saw them on.
Could you smoke in this bowling alley?
Yeah, it used to.
Did you smoke in that bowling alley?
I did not.
Okay,
I didn't pick up cigarettes till after high school, and then I quit cigarettes. Got into occasional cigar smoking.
Yeah,
but I just shot my last my 17th perfect game in bowling last February.
300. This guy's still bowling 300.
Hell yeah, dude!
I got a lot of them recorded.
Really? Do you put them on your YouTube?
I have one on YouTube. The others
You got any like witty catchphrases or anything when you bowl like a turkey and then you're like building it up? Do you is there a name? You know how like you get so many in a row, so many strikes in a row, and they say like there's like a phrase, like isn't it called something?
You get 3.
Yeah, 3 is a turkey, 4 is a ham bone, 5 is just a 5-bagger, 6 is a 6-pack, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bagger. 12 is sometimes they'll say perfect game, but I don't really have anything for 12 other than 300.
So you're bowling, and that's kind of like your outlet, and you do that all the way until you're 21.
No, I never quit bowling.
You never quit bowling? You still bowl today? You're still rolling that rock, dude?
Dude, do people bet? Are there pool players?
Yeah.
Well, you know how people play a game of pool for money? Do people bowl for money?
Yeah, I shied away from it because I fell apart when I played for money.
Right, but I'm just saying I could take you to a local. We could go to like Arc Lanes after this and.
Oh, do you want to kingpin him?
Yeah, I'm saying
You want to pimp him out?
Yeah, we use him as the shark.
I'll probably lose.
Shit. What if we don't tell you it's for money?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We just
then
take him bowling.
Okay. Well, you're not going to beat me. You're going to beat some stranger who thinks he's good.
Probably.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, dude. Look at you making the Days Grimm podcast some money, dude.
Yeah, we got a little money. We can bet.
Yeah, dude. Okay. We got a little.
In my
gambling.
younger prime years, I averaged a 220.
Damn, that's pretty good.
I got a jacket for being top 5 in 2 counties.
Damn. Okay.
So
you play in a league?
Yeah, we just got back from our state tournament in April.
Do they have like if you're a part of a local league, can you go like to national? Like if there's a lot of good players.
Yeah, we talked about nationals, but it's in
Vegas, right?
not Vegas this year. It's in
it switches.
Yeah, Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
Gross. You don't want to go
No,
there.
it'd be fun, dude. I had some great food down there.
Dude, they all
I
smell.
went down after Katrina.
They all smell.
Wasn't that bad.
They smell.
So
Onward. So anyway, so you do that into all the way up into current day. But like, okay, so let's now from high school to 21. What happens here from 18?
Well, you said you were just bowling, hanging out. You hit rock bottom. What happens after that?
I fell into that really bad depression, and my one of my family members who struggled said, "Hey, there's this medication I want you to go on. It's going to help you." And I went to the doctor and I told him everything that I was dealing with, and he actually called a psychiatric center, thinking I was going to hurt myself or hurt somebody else. So this is where my story really picks up in life, because I grew up in church, and I knew about God and showing love to people and feeling peace and not focusing on the bad stuff. So when
what was that denomination, if you don't mind?
Just non-denominational.
Okay.
So when I hit that rock bottom part and I realized that people saw that in me, I thought, well, God's not wanting me to portray all that. If I'm going to church, I need to be a better witness. That's when I turned 21 and all that happened. A lot of it stemmed from the learning disability and not feeling like anybody wanted to be around me.
When you turned 21, did you start drinking?
Family and friends. And so it was at that point where I got back into the Bible and thought, if nobody loves me for me, God does. I don't have to try to impress him.
Hell yeah, brother.
He created me in his perfect image. And
Hell yeah,
even though I
brother.
struggled with stuff, I started to find strengths in life. And
Hell yeah.
I kind of quit medicine, and I just focused on the fact that God loved me for me.
Hey, well, God struggled with the Jays for thousands of
Hey,
years.
I have a fun tidbit, and I've been playing with it lately. I'm not going back to the church anytime soon. I have my own personal reasons, but like I grew up in the church. But having been going to therapy for like the last 2 months, though, I've been thinking, I'm like, dude, like kind of low key, church is really just like another form of like therapy. It's like introspection, self acknowledgement, self appreciation, self love in general. Like it's interesting that like you could almost treat church like a therapy session. You really almost could, dude, or at least the community.
You remember Perry?
Yeah.
Perry was talking about how like churches nowadays are just like a 3-step speech on like a 3-step motivational speech.
Yeah.
But like he was like, I wish that like church would be an example of like the crucifixion, to where it's like, you bring me to the cross, you kill my faith, like you like almost demolish this belief, and then like you give me something to chew with, and then like I see the resurrection, like the message through the end of like,
and each
questioning
each mass, each sermon be that way.
Yeah, like tearing down the religion, and then like basically like
Dr.
rebuilding.
Perry. So this gentleman he's talking about was an individual that I met through
Zach Parsons.
Zach Parsons. Big shout out, big shoots to Zach P. That dude's a stud. He does a lot for the community. He's a really great guy. But yeah, I met Dr. Perry, and he has this like weird thing. We talked about it in last week's episode with Chris McElwain. But yeah, and basically like it basically kind of like destroy, like bring God, destroy God, God rises. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what Perry was saying through his, like, that's what he wants in a sermon. That's what he wants in a mass. That's what he wants in his.
So like when you're getting back in your faith and you're diving in deeper, are you picking up commentaries on the Bible and like going like hardcore into it? Or are you just reading straight the Bible? I'm
just reading the parts of the passages of peace and God's love and just understanding little by little. With my learning disability, it was hard for me to really study the Bible too much. You
haven't read it front to back?
No.
Not like a challenge or anything, because I haven't either. There is a really good version, the reader's version of the Bible, which I'll show you after the show. I've got it over here, but it reads like a book. It's really kind of cool. It's just like it breaks it up in chapters, and everything is like one column per page. It's really cool. But yeah, so you were taking small stuff away from certain passages that stuck out to you and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
about peace,
and that helped you through this dark time.
Yeah. I still have depression. I still have anxiety, but
I think everybody does.
That is when I started. There's the thing. Yeah, I didn't think people really liked me, but when I started becoming comfortable with who I was,
I don't like you,
the backwards person.
I love you. I want you to know that.
That's awesome.
I just got to throw that out there.
Yeah.
But no, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But show me that love by a T-bone steak and a popcorn movie.
We'll get there.
Okay.
All right. You got to walk before you can run,
okay,
all right?
yeah.
You got to walk before you can run.
What if you crawl, you're in the right position?
There you go. Nice.
But you're wondering how I got into my comedy. And
yeah.
It was a slow step.
What does 21 to today look like?
Well, where do you meet your wife between 21
that's a good point. Yeah, when did you and your wife meet? From the age 21, you hit this dark hole, and then what does that look like from that dark hole to meeting your wife?
From age 21, that gap is becoming comfortable in my own skin about who I was, how weird I was. That's when I started making Facebook videos. I never saw the comedy side. It was so gradual. I started
What were these Facebook videos about?
Stuff that I thought was funny. Like I would have this. I grew up in the country, so I have this country accent that I can flip on just like that. Like, hey,
and
this
you
is
kind of look like
what's
a Mennonite.
going on, guys? The back road's tight, just kind of talking like this. And I start doing videos.
Hold on, I have to stop you. You've been talking like that this whole time. I just want to be very clear.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
No.
Just so we're all clear.
I kind of feel like I switch sometimes back and forth. I can go real country if I want to and talk like this, but people crack up
you can
when I
just
do
go
that.
from Indiana to Kentucky.
Yeah,
it's not like
from Hoosier to
right. God bless you.
Thank you.
And
From
they
Hoosier to
feel like
Kentucky.
it's natural. And, part of it is it's not really all that forced. It depends on my mood, how I talk. When I'm in my videos, I'm not talking like the real accent,
Right.
And, these videos are, if I can give you an example.
You should be a voice actor for a cartoon.
Yeah, honestly.
I've loved radio.
Honest to God.
Or radio, like a nice country
Oh,
station.
I've always wanted to be on radio.
Take Paul's job.
Dude, honestly, fuck Paul. You could do his job. 100%. Yeah, Paul, you heard it here.
Well, I went to BU.
Yeah, and all you got to do is memorize the radio tag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I went to BU.
Paul's texting us right
what's
now.
so funny-
Paul is texting us right now.
7 days from today. What's so funny about Paul is like he listens. God bless him. Love him so much.
Brian accidentally leaked Tuesday's episode, and I guarantee you Paul was one of those.
He's already
one
listened
people.
to it. But like he listens to every single episode. Paul, I love you, but also he's coming for your job.
I love radio. I love
do you
everything
really?
about it.
What do you think about voice acting? Do you like cartoons?
Yeah, I do different voices.
Yeah.
I do grandma voice, an old smoker's voice. I do a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, what's funny too is like we missed this like wife meeting period because your wife actually did a voice for Power Rangers.
Yeah, well, the Power Rangers, the one that was in Power Rangers is starting short clips, and she played Cinderella. Like it's not a Power Rangers film; it's just the old Power Ranger from the '90s that created this stuff.
The TV show, right? Okay.
And we had an opportunity to go to Atlanta, Georgia, to sign autographs and do things, but I didn't have a death wish at that time, and I didn't want to die, and I was terrified of Atlanta. And I am not a good driver.
Being from Plainfield, I would be, but you're talking about just the driving. Yeah. I thought you were talking about being white in Atlanta.
Getting shot because I don't use my turn signal.
I was gonna say Atlanta, brother, is not that bad, but yeah, if you're
driving,
is in fact.
If you've never driven, if you can't drive through Chicago, don't try to drive through Atlanta.
I'm terrified of Nashville.
You're fucked, dog.
Dude, yeah, Nashville's like fuck.
You ever been to Indianapolis and gone around the
I
465?
hate Indianapolis.
465, kill yourself,
Dude.
I was in Bloomington, and I had to be a witness to
Dude, for driver's ed, they used to take us on 465, and they make you go to the speed limit, and everybody's going 80 around you. You're like, you're just like, Yeah, you got to go speed limit. It's like 55.
Yeah.
So you're maybe going 58 and everybody's going 80 by you.
Waving firearms out
right,
the window.
Flipping you off.
Yeah.
And you're just like 15.
I'll tell you how bad.
10 and 2.
Right.
Just doing your best.
I'll tell you how bad I hate driving. I had to be
Trying
I
to
had to give a
merge.
statement.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
was in Bloomington, and I had to give a statement to a cop about what I saw. I witnessed a car accident up there at Bloomington, and
you
he asked
pulled
me
over
what I
like
saw.
a nice American.
Yeah, he asked me what I saw up there, and I said, "Well, I saw my car run into the back of the car that I hit." Yeah, honesty goes a long way, right?
Right.
And so I'm terrified of driving. Ever since that wreck in Bloomington, I wasn't paying attention. I slammed into this 80-year-old guy. He had his grandson in the back
Shit, did he
seat, probably
die?
7 years old. And I'm
he
like,
die?
oh my gosh! I thought it was like, knowing my luck, I thought it was some like,
You're avoiding the
wrestler.
question. Did he die?
no, he
Oh,
I don't know how he
Thank
didn't die.
Jesus.
But
Oh.
I'm like, I seen this old guy. I'm like, all right, he can't beat me up. But but then I heard him talking to the cop about the guy in front of him stopped real fast.
Yeah.
So I had no chance of stopping. And he's like, that guy, if I would have caught that guy, I would have just tried to kill him. I'm like, I got lucky because the cop saw it right behind me. I can't do something stupid without law enforcement involved. I got out of my car. There was a fire department on the left side, and then the cop was behind me instantly. Within 10 minutes, we were on the road again. This guy was super cool. I broke his taillight.
Like a NASCAR pit crew, dude. Fucking get you back up and running.
My wife had a tank.
We almost got a
Actually,
tank.
Chevy Equinox,
Oh,
but we
okay.
call it a tank because I
It's
hit everything
essentially
in
a
sight.
tank, yeah, dude.
And I've never dented that car once. I've hit signs.
Can we pull up a picture of a Chevy Equinox? I want the world to see what this vehicle looks like. So if you're not familiar, the Chevy Equinox is a SUV, if I'm not mistaken, and it's fucking massive, dude. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Look at this fucking thing, dude. Those are the smaller ones. The newer ones are the smaller ones, yeah. But yeah, dude,
That's a 2013, and it's been a good car to us. But
yeah, dude, you could mow down a whole fucking protest in one of those, dude.
yeah, if I can stay off of car trunks, it runs really good.
But you put that puppy in all-wheel drive, dude, you fucking knock out a whole fucking...
Is it all-wheel drive?
Ah, never mind. All right. So anyways,
The only thing I haven't hit with that car is a pedestrian yet.
oh,
You got
damn,
a
dude.
I don't
with it?
plan on it either.
You should stay away from protests. Yeah, because you're...
Yeah.
Maybe put a brush guard on it in that case. You know?
Oh,
You're
my.
taking out 2 or 3 for sure in one of those, dude. Inadvertently, like without
that
even
thing
trying.
looked like death race.
Your side mirror is gonna smack somebody in the head. But anyways, so goddamn, where are we at in this timeline?
Where
you met your wife.
Yeah,
how I
let's,
met my
let's
wife.
let's get back to the timeline. So 21 to how did you meet your wife? How did you meet her?
I've been on and off with this one girl for 8 years, and I cared about her, but there was nothing there. I was lonely.
The kids would say she was mid.
Yeah,
She was very mid.
yeah.
Okay.
And I was lonely, and I wanted somebody to fill that void, but she wasn't filling that void. You need somebody compatible.
Yeah.
And she just wasn't compatible. She was a good girl, but I broke up with her, and on and off for years. And I just got tired of hurting her, and I was hurt myself, and I wasn't really thinking straight. But I knocked it off with her, and I moved into my new house that my dad helped me get, and I was alone. It was had a foldable table. Showed up against the wall. I'd just eat and stare at the wall.
Yeah.
Watch TV until I fell
Jesus
asleep.
Fucking Christ, that's a bummer. God damn.
It was brutal. Like I got into another deep depression in that house. Lived there for 3 years in that house alone. That whole time, again, I was bowling. That was my coping mechanism, was bowling.
Yeah. Well, it's
And-
not a bad one. It's better
Yeah.
than heroin.
Chasing them perfect games probably feels like heroin.
So one night, I hit rock bottom again with the depression, with a whole lot of anger. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to love somebody, but my brain was so backwards. I wanted to love somebody the way I needed to, and for them to love me back. And I hit my knees in the bedroom one night, and
I'm sorry?
It's a Catholic thing. You fall to your knees and pray.
Oh, hit my knees. Okay. Gotcha, gotcha.
I fell to my knees, and I begged God for a while. I said, I'm lonely. I'm done. I cannot do this any longer. I did not want to be alone.
Yeah.
And I started praying to God in a very specific way. I said, you need to give me a wife.
Like that's blonde.
Well, I said,
Big
you know my
tit. No, I'm
needs.
joking. No, I'm joking. I'm only joking. So sorry.
I said, you know my needs better than I do. You know what I need in a wife. Give me what I need. And I said, all the bad stuff that's going on in my life right now, help me to get over that so I can be a good husband to my wife and to be the best husband I could. Because I wanted the mental anguish out of my life so I could focus on my wife and be happy with her and, treat her good. And I told God, I said, I want my first marriage to be my only one. And I'll never forget it. In the middle of my prayer, I heard a message go off on my iPad.
And DM?
Mm.
Somebody sneaking up in your DMs or Navy SEAling their way up in there?
Yeah.
Is your wife a Navy SEAL?
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
Gotta check.
Well, I get done praying, and I go check on that message. And it was from my great aunt. And I hadn't seen her or heard from her in 3 years. My great uncle died, and she got remarried. The message went like this. I got somebody I want you to meet. I wonder if you're single. And my heart just kind of stopped. I was like, no, this can't be. And that was in the middle of my prayer. And I said, well, who is she? She said, well, she's going through a divorce right now, so she doesn't want to meet you right now. That was a important thing for me because she wanted to be respectful to her husband, even though she was going through a divorce. And she said, she's an older woman. And is that all right with you? And I said,
What's an older woman? Was this one of your questions? I hope you asked. Is she 60?
She was.
Is this your fucking bingo partner?
She was 6 years older than I was.
Okay, all right, good.
I believe I met her when I was 27 or I think I was 28.
28, so she's
she was
34. Okay.
So that was another big point for me that I wanted an older woman. And
you wanted that.
I wanted that. I craved older women. I was so hot.
So you're like a cougar hunter.
Oh, I was a cougar hunter.
Damn,
But-
dude.
At the bowling alley.
This dude's
with
fucking
the cigarette smokers.
Yeah, dude.
I could have married a 50-year-old. But 6 years older, that was attractive to me.
Yeah. I get you.
And-
Sorry, I don't mean to
Yeah.
belittle
Yeah,
the
yeah,
story.
yeah.
I'm just having fun. Sorry.
And
so sorry.
yeah, absolutely. And,
Sorry.
and I cut up all the time.
All right, cool. All right.
I'm
Thanks for being cool,
guy.
dog. I appreciate
Oh, yeah, heck yeah.
All right.
I want 2 T-bone steaks this time.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You cheap son of a bitch. All right.
So
anyway.
she goes on, and she's like, I don't want you to look up her name. Well, her name was Joni. She called her Joni.
Okay.
And she said, when I want you to meet her, I'll let you know. And she said, promise me you won't get on Facebook and start stalking people. And I promised her. I was a man of my word until I got off Messenger and got right on Facebook, typed in all the Jonies that I could
Right.
find.
Went to her friends
Yep.
list. went
So
through
immediately you went to stalking. Nice, dude.
Not immediately, about 3 minutes. And
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Almost immediately.
yeah. And so I seen this one with mutual friends
Yeah.
at Mary Ann Rollins.
Yeah, that's your auntie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great aunt.
A great
And-
aunt. Yeah.
And I,
Well, I think we need to take a pause here and just thank goodness that it's not like a best friend of your great aunt. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
somebody in their 60s or something.
Right.
yeah.
How bummed out would you have been if you were like, all right, let's see what this Joni looks like, and she's like 73?
It would definitely be awkward.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so you end up doing some stalking.
So I get on Facebook and I see this Joni, mutual friend, great aunt, and first thing I said was she's too beautiful for me. So I got to looking at her wall page, how she talked, how she interacted, things she was interested in, matched my personality to a T.
Nice.
So
I like that.
So I hit my knees in that great big prayer. It was a prayer like no other. I was ready. I was desperate. I was done being alone. I was in mental anguish. 6 months after I hit my knees in prayer, I was on my wedding day.
Hell yeah, brother. What's going on here? We got some movement. Oh, shit. Don't fuck this up. Fucked up.
So
Yeah,
what had
but
happened
maybe
was my great aunt had actually remarried my wife's uncle. And that's how she introduced me to my my wife. So here's the cool part. This was another interesting thing that God did. 2 weeks before I'd even had that meltdown, I got down on my knees and prayed. I didn't know this, but my great aunt went to her mom, my mother-in-law, said, I got somebody want to introduce your daughter to. And she said, no, she just lost her husband to cancer, and then was going through a divorce on her second husband, took the insurance money and left. And she said, I want God to play matchmaker. And she said, I want to pray for this man for a couple of weeks before I have you introduced, because I want to see if God says it's okay. So, but 2 weeks before any of that happened, my mother-in-law was praying for me and about me. And she came to Aunt Mary Ann one day and said, I think God's given me the go-ahead. I think this is somebody that God wants in my daughter's life. And then that's when she asked me. That's
pretty neat. So how long after you guys get married before you start doing like comedy? Like what gets you from getting married to comedy?
We got married in 2015, and I didn't start comedy until 2024.
All right, so let's okay. So
that's like a 10-year gap.
Yeah, so you get hitched in 2015, right? So what happens between 2015 and 2024?
It might have been 16. I think it was 16. We got married January 2nd, so I believe it was 16. Yeah.
Okay.
From then, I started doing funny videos that people kept commenting on Facebook. It's like, I love your videos, man. Keep on doing it. And that was a release to me as well. I did the videos long before I met my wife. That was another release, comedy. When I started to become comfortable in my own skin, comfortable with my learning disability, was able to laugh about it, that's when I had this light kind of a glow within me that I was fun to be around after that, because I accepted myself. I wasn't, woe is me. I took my struggles and I turned them around and I made them fun. And that's when I made that old joke about about us not being all there.
Yeah.
So like, how long are you making videos before somebody's like, hey, you should try an open mic here? And
it never worked like that. I did videos probably, gosh, when I lived, let's see, 25. I was 24 probably when I started making videos. Just actually last year, a guy came up to me at work, and he'd known me from the other place that I'd worked. He said, "Man, you're funny. I got an open mic. I want you to try." Maybe he'd seen my videos and all that too, but we was working together on the line. And he said, "There's an open mic in Petersburg." And I said, "Man, I've done sermons in my church. We mentioned that, I like microphones, comfortable with them, comfortable being in front of people. I've done youth group ministries where I give testimony about my life, about depression and how I overcome it and found God. And I help the youth through depression, through hard times. And so I was always comfortable with the microphone. But when it comes to making people laugh, that's where I got nervous, because it was almost like I needed to make these people laugh. If they didn't laugh, it's going to be awkward.
It's an intimate thing.
Yeah, if I'm in a sermon.
You're like trying to, sermon is more.
Yeah, I've got my notes. I got what I want to talk about. I'm not there to make you laugh.
Yeah.
You listen to what I have to say about God.
This is factual. This is a like a history class, if you will, like that which we described earlier. You'd be very good at.
Yeah,
because of the memorization.
I only memorize things I want to, though.
But like comedy is just such an intimate thing. It's like you're fucking everybody in the audience. I mean, it's like you're trying to sweet talk everybody in the audience to getting in. Like, you got to take off all your clothes and then be like, "You want some of daddy?" I mean, pretty much it's that intimate, because you're reaching down inside of them with your
You're
words.
trying to find emotions to pair humor with.
They told me to picture everybody in their underwear, which was going to be good this one time, because my booker accidentally booked us for a nudist camp.
Oh, fuck. Did you do this show?
I didn't. He realized what he got into. I didn't want to be hanging my hard hat on my pecker, covering it up.
I get it.
On my show.
Well, your cowboy hat.
It is so awkward. So I would have loved to picture somebody in their underwear after seeing them butt naked. It was like 60-year-old men, loose, dangling balls. Just
you ever notice that like nude beaches and nudist camps and all that stuff, like it's never the people you want to see naked.
No.
You know what I mean?
Why would it be?
Yeah, no, it's always like the nasty, dangly, they got cobwebs on their ankles type of folks. Ugh. But anyway, so you take your buddy up on the open mic. Do you take his suggestion to do the open mic? Is that how you get into it from work?
Yeah, he said, I want to go. So Brooke Bertrand from work actually.
Do I got to bleep this name?
Oh, sorry. No, yeah, no, she's cool.
She's cool?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. She's attached to this forever now.
Everybody kept telling me I was funny. So this is where I go back and I was talking about, I didn't realize it. You wanted me to elaborate on how funny I was in high school. I didn't realize it. But looking back, I was a class clown, and I brought a lot of laughter, quick wits, just, quick stuff off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I had to really, here lately, I've been really getting into it, really studying it, really looking for those quick comebacks and studying it for hours, looking for anything to riff off of.
I'll tell you what, one thing, and this is why I could never do comedy. A lot of it is intelligence. Which I think you would be better off than me because you're better at memorizing things. Anyone will tell you Tom is very quick-witted, but he also keeps track of the news and reads things that
Yeah, but I don't have
guy.
long memory span. I can't memorize shit.
But I do think you would be better at comedy than I on stage for that reason, because you're so in tune and I'm so detached. But it really does boil down to intelligence, whatever it may be, whatever your shtick is. If you're into hillbillies and country county roads, be in tune with that, but you've got to be knowledgeable too. And I really do think you would and you will go that direction.
There's a lot to learn. I envy a lot of people that's knowledgeable about the news and stuff, and just stuff they know. I growing up with a learning disability, there's a lot that I don't know, but I'm able to just make humor off of learning disabilities, a lot of my struggles. And so I go, long story short, I go to that verse mic.
Yeah.
And
I was going to come back to that.
Yeah, in Petersburg.
Yeah.
And everybody that went with me.
Shout out to Petersburg, dude. How's the airport treating you? I don't know anything else about Petersburg.
Gotcha.
Anyways.
But, everybody there is I loved your set. I loved your material.
Yeah.
And so I already had the public speaking voice.
Did you write these out? Did you write out?
I did.
What was the set? 5 minutes?
It was 8.
8? God
My
damn.
very first time doing stand-up
Jesus
comedy was
fucking
8 minutes.
Holy shit.
But I didn't know.
Did you write down?
I wrote down words, and then I go out the stories off the first word.
Did you, of course, but did you practice at home? Did you know,
No.
okay, I'm going to have 8 minutes?
I had an idea of what I wanted to write. I was sitting at the table with the guys that I knew that watched my videos. I like that video. Do something like that. So I'd write something down. And I wrote down 8 to 10 things. I got through 8 of them. Wasn't able to finish the other 2. And so we got back to work that next weekend, after that weekend on a Monday, and everybody was talking about it at work. They were saying, oh, Aron Wade did the best out of all of us. And I wish he'd do it again. With Jesse Scheidler, he, that's the guy who sent me to Petersburg.
Okay.
Said, I have an open mic every month that I'm doing, every third Thursday at a brewing company at Vincennes. Awesome people, very supportive. Go with me. I'm like, all right. And so I go, and they like me. And he comes up to me after the show and says, Robinson, Illinois, I'm getting $100 paid, and I'm going to give you $50 to go with me. Would you go with me? And I said, yeah. Interesting thing. I got beat up in high school by a woman.
From Robinson, Illinois?
Yeah. She lived in Washington with us.
Oh, I was joking. You're serious?
Dead serious. She lived.
Oh, shit, dude. Okay.
Let me make the jokes here.
Oh, sorry.
No.
She was actually in the audience.
So here's the weird story about this. The best day of my life, got beat up by a woman, shoved in a locker. Well, who could ask for more? You know what I mean?
It's kind of hot for me.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm into it. Anyways, keep going.
So she moved.
Hey, you didn't step on my balls. Get back in here.
She moved to Robinson, Illinois.
No
and
shit.
I had major blue balls after that for a long time.
I get it. Yeah.
But she moved to Robinson, Illinois, and I hadn't seen her in 20 years. Facebook friends, but my teacher back then was her mom. She messages her daughter. Her name's Jennifer. She said, "Hey, that guy that you beat up in high school and and got the most confidence and changed his life for the better, is doing a comedy show in Robinson, where you're from. And I got to call her up, and I said, can I use you in my show? And she said, yeah. So I get up there, and I started good, then I'd bomb. I started good, and then I'd starting to lose them. Until I solved the Rubik's Cube, and I solved it in about 2 minutes. And I got up there, I took the Rubik's Cube with me up there, and I started a song out. I wrote a song. I write poetry and
that's
song.
sweet. I need to work on it, but yeah, I enjoy that. Yeah,
I got
that's
up
nice.
there and I said, I got somebody I want you to meet, and I introduced her, and I said, and I sang the song. She came up, and it was about her and how she turned my life around and gave me blue balls. And but when the crowd figured out that I hadn't seen her in 20 years and she was the one that beat me up, they erupted. Like it turned, and then I became me. Like what I'm doing now, the riffing.
Yeah.
I became myself on stage. Before, my butthole was so clamped up. It was.
We got to talk
Now
about
it's just loose farts.
We got to talk about your butthole too.
I have a cool story about my
Hold
butthole
on, don't jump the gun, dude.
All
We're gonna come to it. We got about 10 minutes left, dude.
Okay.
But anyway, okay. So you do that. You do those gigs, those 3 or 4 gigs in a row with this guy. Okay. So what brings you to the Indiana circuit? How do you get, or to the Evansville circuit? How do you make your way from there to here? Who do you get introduced to?
I caught wind. Dustin Madison. He was there at Petersburg.
He's my
first set.
third favorite gay man.
Yeah,
third favorite.
And I reached out to him and I said, "Man, how do I get into this stuff? I've been busting my butt with. I was going to Bloomington Hoppy Wobbles.
Hell yeah.
I was going to Terre Haute.
Yeah.
And I was going to Evansville, Vincennes, and I couldn't get any traction going. And I called him and I said, "Here's all my stuff on YouTube. Just give me a chance." And he got me connected with Newburgh every third Thursday with Andy Emily. Every first Thursday at Newburgh with Andy Emily and
Jameson, or what is it?
Jennings Street.
Jennings Street. Yeah, Jennings Street. Sorry.
Jennings Street. Yeah, and it's now Havens. And
they changed names?
Yeah.
Damn.
So Dustin and Andy got talking, and Andy said, this guy's busting his ass, and let's give him a shot. And so Dustin texted me that night that I called him, and I was just totally upset about not getting anywhere. Nobody's wanting me to do any shows with them, and I was doing all these open mics and didn't think I was funny enough. Dustin texted me that night, says, "What are you doing on this Friday?" And I said, "Just working." "Why?" And he said, would you like a guest spot at Petersburg, Pike County Golf Course?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, yes. And it all
back
and
out to the airport, baby.
I've been with Dustin in the Pop-Up Comedy Club ever since.
Good deal, man. Dustin's good people, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Dustin's good people. Seriously, he is my third favorite gay man, and I know a bunch of them. So shout out to Dusty, man, crushing it. So you get introduced to the Evansville circuit by Dusty, and then how has it been going?
It's been steadily growing.
Are you doing shows outside of the Evansville circuit still?
Yeah, I did a show at Illinois at a Mexican restaurant. Zach Pollard was in Newburgh.
I've never heard that. Pollard.
He was in Newburgh with that open mic, and he liked my set.
He doesn't have a gallbladder. You know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, nobody in his town has a gallbladder.
Fairfield,
I've never
Illinois.
looked at somebody and thought, "Oh my God, they have a gallbladder." I'm not sure how you could tell without.
Fairfield, Illinois. They're all suffering, so we're actually starting a GoFundMe to get them all.
Apparently they're doing charities at Mexican restaurants for gallbladder.
Yeah, we're gonna get them. Everybody that lives in Fairfield, Illinois, is gonna get a brand new gallbladder thanks to the Days Grimm podcast.
And a 3D printed live organic material.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Throwing a T-bone steak.
100%.
Yeah.
That's 3 now. You son of a bitch.
Probably made with 3D printed steak.
But so you're still doing shows in the Evansville circuit, and you're still outside.
So it's been slow. Right now, I'm just doing open mic still.
Okay.
Occasionally, Dustin will let me on a
you just hosted
comedy special that we guys did, and normally I'm a guest spot, and so it's slow, but. Even with the open mics, when I'm getting those laughs, it's one of the best things.
Well, we talked about it earlier when you were trying to take me on a date or something. I said you got to crawl. You got to crawl before you can walk, and you got to walk before you can run. So you're figuring it out, man. And I really do see a lot of potential in you. I really do think that you have a very unique brain.
Like you said, you're good at studying the craft and memorizing, and you'll get cadence and all that. I feel like
all that shit comes.
I wanted you mentioned something about the butthole.
You got to figure out computers, though.
Yeah, we do have like roughly 8 minutes. I do want to talk about your butthole. And I'm real pissed. We did a comedy cachet downstairs in the here at the studio,
and we started to talk about it, didn't we?
We did vaguely, and you were like, I had a rod in my butt or something, and and then I had asked you, I was like, dude, do you have any butthole material? And you were like, no, I've never done a single joke. And okay, so here I have a couple bones to pick with you. First off, make a fucking dress joke tomorrow, like today, tomorrow, figure it out, yesterday. And then the butthole stuff. You got to start doing butthole stuff on stage. You
can even mix in religious stuff and be like, I wasn't Catholic.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
I did a dress joke. I tried a dress joke.
You have done a dress joke?
I said I was in a dress and I was drunk. I threw a wig on and talking about how sexy I looked in the mirror, and my wife came in and said, "I look like my sister." That was the last time I wore a dress.
Yeah, dude, I like that. It's not bad. We can work on it.
Yeah.
True is always best. So you should find a way to find that story and do that on stage. I'm serious. Even if you got to make some shit up. So fucking funny. I literally cried a tear. But the butthole thing, dude, you have a very unique butthole. Do we want to talk about it?
Yes.
Are we cool with your butthole on this podcast?
Absolutely.
Are you cool with this butthole? Okay, let's talk about it.
I was born.
You were born with no butthole.
A piece of skin over my butt.
Yeah, your
kind of like that blow up doll you had in Boredom Bros that had the flap over.
Yeah, the flap, dude. You got to circumcise. So did your butthole?
Except nobody was trying to get into my butthole like the blow up
Well,
doll.
the doctors were apparently.
Yeah, what was it? A piece of rebar or something? I don't remember.
The doctors were trying to get in, right?
So
just picturing somebody with a piece of rebar like poking a baby's butt.
So I fly out. And
so what happens? How do you get? So you're born and you have
in the uterus.
Yeah.
Somehow this skin's supposed to dissolve.
Okay.
Unless it's not supposed to be there ever. I don't know.
Okay.
But I popped out. Didn't have any skin. Didn't have any butthole.
No butthole. No beehole.
So I couldn't poop.
Yeah.
So they rushed me by ambulance to Riley's Hospital, lights and sirens, as long as cars were getting in their way.
Yeah.
They wanted to get me there quick. Mom and Dad were driving behind them, speeding, trying to keep up that ambulance, holding on to their ass. I wasn't holding on to mine because they had a piece of skin. I knew mine wasn't going anywhere.
Not working.
Yeah.
Out of commission.
You didn't even have an ass.
That skin was going to catch it.
You were no ass.
So they get me to Riley's, and they think they have to rebuild my colon. They don't think I have a colon.
Oh, shit.
So they popped the butt like a balloon, and shit just went everywhere.
Oh, I bet, dude.
And then it was fine after that. They put a metal rod up me for 3 months. Now, here's where I want to get into the story.
You had to sit with a metal rod in you for 3 months, or it was like every day you're getting rodded? Like, what was that like?
I think that rod stayed in me for 3 months
Holy
to keep the skin
shit.
from growing back.
Dude, that's some kinky girl butt plug shit.
God.
You out butt plug half these freaky chicks out there. Every goth bitch out there doesn't know nothing about a 3-month butt plug.
Dude, y'all don't know nothing.
So fast forward to age 35. I can't pee real well, so my wife went to take me to a urologist. Well, he looks up Woody Woodpecker's throat hole, and he doesn't see anything up there that's blocking anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And he said, well, I'm going to stick a finger up your bottom and find out what's going on. And I didn't know anything about a prostate before that. And so
did you ask him, do you have some rebar back here? We're going to need... I'm joking. So you got
not the rod.
So he bent me over. And I hear that lube going on his finger. I'm like, can you not give me a tiny doctor with tiny fingers?
Yeah, a little Asian guy or something.
Guy, great big old fingers. And I had a conversation. I had a conversation with my asshole right before he inserted and ruined my life. And I said, listen, we've done 3 months of our life to work our way up for this.
Yeah.
Right.
You've trained the first 3 months of your life. Let's do this.
This is game day.
Right.
Yeah.
Relax.
And I figured out real quick that after 3 months of having a rod, your asshole doesn't want anything up there ever again.
Oh, yeah. It's full clench all the time.
He went right up me, and I just clenched up so tight. It was the worst. I started coughing and gagging, and I realized later it was his fingers. He was up that high.
Did he lose a wedding band?
He must have, 'cause I've been walking funny ever since. But
oh fuck!
But he pulled out. I almost had feelings for him. He was up so high.
I get it, dude. I get it, man.
But I'm like, asshole, we trained for this 3 months our entire lives. And after 3 months, you just want nothing up your ass ever again.
Hold on. While we're here, dude, the personification. Hold on. I hope so. The personification of your butthole. And I really do think you could, and I hope so.
No, I don't know.
I think so. But like the personification of the butthole, dude, you've got to do that. That's your angle. Make your butthole a person. You need to do that.
Well, I used to be a ventriloquist.
Be like that. Do that. Work on some stuff where you're like talking about your butthole, like you and him have like a bond, like a relation. Like, hey, buddy, we've been training for that. You know what I mean? Do some more of that. That's good.
That's actually the first time I actually worked on that bit.
Yeah, it's good.
We've been training for this part.
Yeah.
That's
do they do like plastic surgery?
Today on the podcast, first time I added that in, but I've been thinking about it because I've never told my story about my rectum being, sewed shut with skin. So whatever it did,
some Kyle XY shit.
I was able to fart whenever I wanted. I could suck air at my ass, and I'd blow it back out, and it was just pure air.
That's so weird.
I discovered that at my grandma's house. She's in there watching a movie. We got a pool table.
Yeah.
I am on my back blowing out my ass for an hour. I mean, 50 to 60 farts, like long, just rippling farts.
Damn, dude.
She walks in. What is wrong with you?
Why does it smell like shit in here?
She's
God
like,
damn it.
Let's picture him on his side, moving his ass up and down, getting different pitches.
You imagine how confused you would be if you heard 60 farts in an hour. And, and she walks in, and I didn't tell her I'm sucking air up my ass, blowing it out.
Yeah.
My dad was the first one I told that to, and then he told me, well, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was so amused. And so I was in high school, and they knew I could fart like that. And they'd be like, fart across the table, fart on this metal chair, fart in the water.
Here, fart in my hand.
Like, what? I went on
fart in this jar. Light this fart. Let me light a fart.
Everybody at school.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever done like a fart into a closed container and then light it on fire?
I tried. It didn't work.
It didn't work?
No.
Because methane is combustible.
Well, I wonder if you got to suck it in and hold it in for a little bit, and then.
That's fascinating, dude.
You ever preload a fart?
I recorded a fart into a 60-second pin, and it went over 60 seconds. It was like 70 seconds. But I set the recorder off in school one time, in high school.
Nice. Is there a world record for the world's longest fart?
You have the Google.
It's got to be over a minute.
You have the Google machine. Have you ever?
My record's 70 seconds.
Have you 70?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got a lot of control over my asshole.
So go to all. Yeah. And let's see what this record is. The longest fart ever recorded was 2 minutes and 42 seconds, achieved by Bernard Clemens. This is a Guinness World Record, but it's worth noting that there isn't an official organization for farting records. Nice. Dude, shout out to Bernard. That is fucking... God damn, that's a Led Zeppelin song, dude. Yeah. That's 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
The only other guy that I knew actually went to high school.
That's got to be euphoric. Like, what's that feeling?
Dude, you have to come at the end. You have to. Oh, God.
The only guy that I met like me actually went to Grace Christian High School. He came back for a visit for my teacher.
Yeah, fart off, play some battle shits.
He just blew one out the ass right in the middle of the class. My teacher knew he was going to do it, and he got all red-faced, and the guy was laughing, and he was a class clown, too.
Hell yeah.
But I didn't know other people could do it. Now, when I got fat, I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, you got too much barometric pressure going on.
Yeah, the only thing I haven't done with my butt is play the harmonica.
Well, there's always time to learn, dude, and that's a hell of a stage act.
I feel like you could do it. Just between the cheeks, slide it up, slide down.
Bet you could.
Yeah.
Just credit card that bitch in there.
Yeah.
One thing we do like to ask everybody, though, we've been having a lot of fun the last couple minutes. It's going to get a little weird here. Last couple minutes when we wrap these shows up, we do like to ask, through your journey to get to where you are today, what is your darkest moment, and also more
I
important,
feel like we kind of discussed that, and God came through it, so we can just go into.
Yeah, my depression was my darkest moment.
and then your biggest reliever for that was finding God.
Was God and the comedy. I believe that God gave me a brain for the comedy to overcome pain and sadness. And
While we're here, since we're not going to really truly get to ask that question, what other what advice do you have for folks that are in a similar situation that you were in when you were 18, 19, 20, 21? What words do you wish you would have heard that maybe would have helped you get better faster?
If you're struggling, let somebody know. Don't be ashamed. I know a lot of people that's been in psychiatric help. You break your arm, you put it in the cast. You break your brain, it's a whole nother ball game, and sometimes your life depends on it. We lost a lot of people.
And
we're afraid to get that help. So I urge anybody to get the help that they need, and to know that you're not alone in your pain and suffering, and that there's somebody out there who loves you.
And then shout out to Tom for the poorly timed nom joke. Jesus fucking Christ. I was actually thinking of, I was feeling the emotion, and then he was like, we've lost a lot of people. And I was like, yeah, brother, we have. And Tom was like, yeah, in Nam? Yeah.
I didn't even catch that. I was so in tune with me.
A lot of guys in Nam.
In war.
Vietnam.
Never forget.
Jesus fucking Christ, Tom. Read the fucking room.
I
think your fucking Asperger's is rubbing off on him, dude.
I was looking at the Monsteras. They're
That's the only
tropical.
thing rubbing
I
off
was
on
in the Indonesias,
Dude, all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
My biggest passion in life is to help people overcome depression. And I think I'm not going to lead everybody to God. There's atheists out there that don't believe in God, and I'm not going to be able to change their mind. But there's people that are desperately searching for God and searching for answers. And I use my comedy, my past, stuff that there's some dark things in my life that have happened that I keep on the back burner, that I don't really bring up a whole lot. But God always brings people into my life that have dealt with the same situations to what got me into that depression. And I help with youth groups a lot. And
Good.
Youth is our biggest. Our generation depends on the youth, and if we can get them out of pain and suffering, and if we can get them to where they need to be, they can become a better person and help the world the way it needs to.
And then they can fucking wipe my ass when I'm in the old folks' home too. That's what I'm gonna need them to do.
As we
I'm joking.
As we wrap up, we'll put your YouTube page.
Yeah, dude.
Here
Shout out to Aron Wade, dude. That's Aron AARON WADE. Can't read that far away, Tom.
Or 5741.
5741.
Yeah,
So I want to give
YouTube.
a shout out to you guys for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, dude, it's nothing. We have fun. This is what
Who
we
else do you want
to
to shout out?
Yeah. What else do you want to plug or shout out or
Any upcoming dates?
Yeah. You got shows coming up, or you got a channel? Or
I don't have any shows coming up. I have open mics, so please, if anybody likes my material, likes my personality, wants to give me a shot, give a shout out to Days Grimm and have them get a hold of me. I'd be glad to.
I will put you in
talk with
contact. Yeah, 100%. DM us, dude. We will put you in contact. And then you're really active on social media. So if you're doing an open mic, you're good about putting it up. Like, hey, I'm going out to Spanky's on Jefferson. Come out or whatever.
Yeah. I like to promote my comedy.
Got to do that. Got to do that, brother. So yeah, follow this guy on social medias. What's your Facebook? What do you post the most on Facebook, Instagram? Where can people follow?
I don't have an Instagram. I just got a Facebook and a YouTube.
Okay.
I post stupid videos on Facebook.
Everybody loves a stupid video, dude.
My comedy buddies, they warned me not to put your best material online so people don't steal it. But if I'm having a bad day, I'll get on a video and I'll just rant, and it just cracks people up. So my Facebook is A-Ron Wade. I believe that's a hyphen, the small one dash.
Yeah.
And it's a public profile, so anybody can follow it and just see what I'm all about.
Get on there, dude. Subscribe to this guy, man. Fucking follow this dude. He's beginning, but I'm telling you, dude. I know you're just beginning, but I'm telling you, I think you have the right brain.
Yeah,
You've
got this.
You've got the right drive.
I want to reach people in ministry and use comedy, but I don't have the appropriate jokes sometimes. I am definitely working on cleaning up my act because I want to start doing church comedy, and I want to get back into. It would just be cool to do a church, and I have a lot of clean material. I just need to work on more. Comedy is there regardless if it's good or bad. It's so easy to do bad comedy.
Yeah.
It's so easy to talk about buttholes and
that's my thing.
And
that's
training with metal rods.
Dude, Aron Wade, dude. We got you in here. We sat down. We brought you into the official studio. I can't thank you enough, sir. Seriously, thank you so much for your time.
It has been a blast.
Been a pleasure, sir.
It's been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Thomas Grimm.
My name is Brian Day.
And this has been
Aron Wade. Thank you so much, Aron. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Bye.